to my bedroom, if you wanna come to my bedroom, if you wanna come to my, if you wanna come to my bedroom, if you wanna come to my bedroom, I can be there if you want to. If you wanna come to my bedroom, I can be there if you want to.
You match the painting. Look. You're literally matching perfectly. That is so weird. Oh my god. Like the shades even are identical. The gray and the cream. It's so funny. It's dark. Do you see that? Do you not see? It's dark.
I mean, it looks fine.
It doesn't. I promise.
Oh, that's better.
That's better. Yeah, it's light. It's just not like natural looking.
It's not.
Are you blind? Can you not tell? Look at this, okay? I want you to look at that lighting versus this. Can you tell the difference?
No.
You can't?
I mean, go back.
Dark. Light.
Well, yeah.
Okay, that's good. I cannot tell you how many times we've tried to film this video.
Yeah. Sorry, actually, we want to
We're
apologize
slacking.
for putting it off for so long. We've been meaning to film this video. We've actually once attempted and started filming the video, but we ran out of time. So,
Yes.
we're filming it now. It's all that matters.
It's all
and
that
you're
matters.
watching it now.
Today, we are doing a Spritz and Chips segment.
Spritz and
If
Chips.
you are just stumbling across this video and you're not sure what the heck Spritz and Chips is, it's a little segment Hunter and I do here on our channel. It's kind of like a podcast format. We just talk about different topics, shoot
It could be
the
like
shit,
relationship
stuff.
Q&As. It could be like Q&As that you send in to us about our life, a relationship, maybe certain topics like after graduation, finding a job, stuff like that.
Adulting,
Yeah.
anything like that. So we decided today to talk all about goal setting and planning our goals for 2020. We're kind of just going to talk through how we're breaking out our goals and like what our goals are for this year, just to help give you guys some ideas for how you can set your goals. And
Yeah, we figured we'd do
Yeah.
this one first as our first Spritz and Chips because it's the
Year.
beginning of the year. Everyone's kind of like starting new goals and new like new year initiatives and stuff like that. So we figured to use this time to talk you through how we're doing our goals and also conversation around how you should plan your goals as well.
currently we are doing the Whole30. So normally for this segment, we always have like a cocktail and a snack.
Like a chip or
But
something.
we're not drinking this month at all. So we've got, my Yeti is full of ice water.
And I have a Topo Chico with lime. And our snack for today is a bowl of pecans that I've
Yes.
already like devoured half of them.
And we've been making a ton of vlogs, and I've been showing a lot on stories of like all the healthy food that we've been making for the Whole30. So if you need inspo, check out our latest vlogs. Also follow along on Instagram.
Instagram, you
Showing
can post like
everything.
a lot of stories.
Oh
So-
yeah, so many. Because you have to cook literally everything. So it's like kind of exhausting, but basically the Whole30, if you don't know what it is, a lot of people have asked me, they're like, I don't know what the Whole30 is. I'm like, well, first, if you just pop it in Google, you'll find everything. But it's like a 30-day elimination diet where you eliminate dairy, sugar, and gluten. And so we've cut out all of that, and it's very hard.
Yeah, and it's like a lot. You're not just those three things. You're cutting out a lot of other stuff too as well. Like no beans, no
Yeah,
oats,
anything like
no-
inflammatory to your body.
Exactly.
It's basically like eating paleo. If you're familiar with paleo eating, it's kind of the same system as that. So anyways, we feel great, but it's been really hard. Especially
It's our third time to do it.
Yeah.
And you start to remember like it was hard the previous times, but like you look back and it was like the best experience.
I know.
Like, you feel
It's
the
a good
best after.
challenge.
Yeah. You
And-
feel really great at the end.
So yeah, we're about halfway through January so far, and it's been kind of like a weird month. I feel like Hunter and I are just trying to get back into the swing of work. I feel like it was really hard after this holiday break. I don't know why, but just getting back into like the grind and everything was a little tough. So we've just been catching up on everything. I think that's why it's taken us so long to get to this video.
Yeah.
But we're back to like
Is that and also
posting.
we've been really busy with
Yeah.
with my 9 to 5. I've been super busy with like really needed to focus in on that. So you haven't seen me in a lot of the vlogs as much lately. and I've just been kind of like distanced from YouTube for a while. So
Yeah.
picking things back up, finally like
You'll
opening
see
the
more
doors.
of Hunter. He's just super busy right now with
Yeah.
work and stuff. So, but yeah, it's been good so far, and we're just gearing up for spring and all that's to come.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we've got lots of fun stuff planned for 2020, goals, vacations, all that stuff. So, let's hop in
Let's do it.
to the goals.
Okay, first things first. We did a video similar to this about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like last January.
It was.
And we broke down the way we typically think about goals together, at least, is we break them into different categories. And we did this last video as well. And those different categories, there's actually 6 of them. It's health, career, recreational, personal, financial, and goals for each other.
And I'm pretty sure I actually got these from Jen Adkin last year. This is how she breaks out her goals. So we stole them from her.
Yeah.
But they're really good.
But each of those, they all kind of tie into like your individual goals, and then the final one is a goal for your partner, your significant other, your husband, your wife, whatever.
They hit off on everything, yeah.
Yeah, and they all kind of tie back into like a certain theme for the years, like the way I try to think about it. So, like number 1 for health, jumping in, like I know you already wrote some things down. What I mean, health-wise, do you see this more of like workout, dieting, just like mental health? How do you think?
I kind of see it as all around. I think like health. I've started to like as as we get older. Hunter and I are 28 now, and I start to look at health more as just like a way to like to stay alive. So seriously, just like sleep and work-life balance, and yes, mental health, eating properly, just like for your body, not necessarily to look a certain way. I mean, that's like an added plus, but just to like have more energy.
Totally.
And same with like exercise as well.
Yeah, and that's also just a really good mindset to have. I mean, so many people, the new year starts, you're like, I'm gonna be in the gym every day, I'm gonna like change my body, I'm gonna eat healthier, like etc. Those are all good ambitions and something that does motivate you at first, but you have to have something stronger than that to keep you going. And I think what we've realized over time is taking what you just said and making that your mindset for workouts, which is
Totally.
I just want to be a healthier
Like
person.
responsibility almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Health is a responsibility.
So like as an individual, to keep my body healthy, I need to sleep, I need to eat healthy, and I need to exercise. So making it about like exercising versus like working out to like change your body.
For sure.
Your body will naturally change. That'll be like an added benefit, like you mentioned. But it just helps you maintain the consistency of going to the gym or getting some kind of exercise in. If you can think about it from it is my responsibility. I owe this to my body to exercise it and give it some kind of like recreational activity or some kind of like workout, whatever movement.
Yeah, that's something that I really have a hard time with, just as a girl, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate, just trying to like disconnect the idea of working out so close to like your body image and like the way that you look. So I'm really trying like for this year to like separate that, because in the past it's really held me back from like taking time to work out, because I would get like, I don't know, I would get like mixed emotions about it, because I would
You don't
feel
get
like,
anxiety.
I would get like anxious, like, oh, it's because I'm fat, or like I'm like, don't look a certain way, I need to like go to the gym. And I'm really trying to just like cut that out, because it hasn't helped me build a consistent like exercise regime, and now it's affecting my health. So I need to just shift my mindset. So that's like my biggest goal for 2020 is like making that shift and integrating it more every day.
Totally. One of my personal trainers back when we lived in California, he's actually like a pretty well-known guy in the CrossFit world. But anyways, he said something that always stuck with me, which is like he works out to like continue to be an athlete. Like he just wants to be athletic the rest of his life. He wants to be 55, 60 years old and have like a few kids and still be like athletic and being able to like do things with them and like just, being I don't know if like everyone wants to view themselves as like an athlete, but like maintaining athleticism that you have at like a young age and taking that into like adulthood is like, that is pretty challenging.
For sure. Especially if you have kids, I feel like that's good motivation. Like getting just like more in shape so that you can like keep up with your kids and like hang out with them, play with them, run around with them.
My whole life, I've always either eaten healthy or worked out a lot. I've never combined the two.
Same.
I did it once when I was on Whole30 last time, actually. We were on the Whole30 and I was like going through my personal training stuff and I was like working out really hard every morning at like 5 a.m., eating super healthy, like very, very clean. And it was the best I had ever felt. Like I always look back and I'm like, that is the goal. Like, love it. but I've never actually done it for an extended period of time. Not saying I have to stay on Whole30, but I just want to combine like eating
everything.
healthy with like a good workout regime.
For sure. No, I totally agree.
Yeah, that's my focus on health. You
Cool.
got yours.
Yeah.
Move on to career.
Okay. Number 2 is career. So this will be different depending on like what you do for work. But I think like having some sort of goal in your job or your career like kind of just keeps you going and gives you something to shoot for, just because we spend so much of our time at work or in our jobs. Maybe if like you're a stay-at-home mom, this could be like in your mom life, just like how to like be a better mom or something, stuff like that. So it's totally different depending on what you do. But I think like for us, well, obviously Hunter will have some goals for like his 9-to-5 job. He works in software sales. And then for both of us, for our YouTube channel and kind of like how we want, like what do we want for that?
Yeah, because I mean, ultimately YouTube is like our business. So we have our own goals for like our business and like what we want to achieve and things that we want to like shoot for. But really from a career perspective, I challenge Julia and myself, but I also challenge you when you're thinking about career goals, think about more, like obviously think about goals that you normally think about them in the sense of like, I want to be better at this, this, and this. I want to achieve this revenue, or if I'm in sales, I want to like do this much better in sales or create this many new opportunities and leads or whatever it might be. Have those goals, but also challenge yourself to have like goals of how you interact with people at your office, or just like bettering your life in your career. Like how can you live a more positive life at work or in your job or in your career or whatever that might be. Like, is it building new friendships, like asking someone to coffee that you don't normally take to coffee, and like getting to know more people at your office just to build a stronger community and feel more like comforted by the place you go to every day, because ultimately your job and your career is where you spend more than half your life.
It's like, I think it's like 90% or like 95% or something like that.
Of your time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like in the office around coworkers.
Like 85.
I don't know the percentage, but it's a big chunk regardless. So make that more enjoyable for yourself, because that'll also reflect on your mental health and just like overall happiness.
Totally. So like, for example, I think like a couple things that I am looking to work on is kind of figuring out like a better schedule for how like my everyday, basically like my 9-to-5 is like working on videos and emails and anything like behind the scenes of YouTube, a lot of which you don't really see. You see like the fun stuff of us just like, you know, daily vlogging, but there is like basically a whole 9-to-5 kind of job that goes into it. So for me, that's just kind of like figuring out a better work schedule, because it's really hard to create consistency with YouTube. It's like very just, it's not like a traditional career, right? So like lots of things like fly at you. So
there's less structure.
There's less structure. So I really love routine and structure, and I find that like I do really well with that. So I'm hoping to kind of create a little bit more consistency around my schedule.
Julia's already really good at planning out her following day and like writing it down and making like time blocks on your calendar. One thing we talked about for 2020, and we've already started to do this and incorporate it into like how we operate the YouTube side of things, is each night when we get in bed, we actually time block our calendars together. I obviously have like a set schedule for my work that's already kind of time blocked for me, but any open time like before and after, we're time blocking those collectively as like filming time, editing time, working on a certain project that we might film later or whatever that might be, really like focused on YouTube stuff, or just simply chores that you got to do around the house, because we work from home and this is our office. So we
find that like nothing really gets done unless we like commit to it like that, or else it's just a big scramble. So it helps us stay organized.
Scheduling is important. So not necessarily a goal, like it's just something we decided we wanted to incorporate into our life to make things more like organized, but something that we definitely recommend. It's helped us a lot.
And I mean, I think routine helps, and like I love planning a schedule, but I'm flexible. Like I just like to have something in mind, and then if something pops up, I can be like agile and like move to that task, but I like to have like something to shoot for. So I think that's
I'm a little bit more sporadic and spontaneous, I think. And Mary and Julia has helped keep me in line.
Yeah. A little bit messy. A really big project for us that kind of ties into YouTube a lot is our renovation property, which a lot of you guys know about. We talked about it in a vlog week. If you've been with us for probably, I don't know, at least a year now, we talked about that.
I think we first showed it a year ago.
Yeah, we have a house that we're looking to renovate, well, property.
Yep. We've had it, we actually had it now for 3 years.
Yeah.
Which is wild. Almost 3 years. But it's always been like a big focus. Like, I think starting last summer, we were like, this is going to be a 2020 project, and it definitely is. Right now, we're still like meeting with architects. Well, actually, we chose our architect. We're meeting with builders still, trying to identify our builder. There's a few other steps in the process before we can get like the ball rolling. A big piece of that is we're also structuring like how it also ties back into YouTube. Like, how do we want to present that content? Do we want to make content out of it? Obviously, we want to show you a lot of the project. But do we want to just integrate it into our daily vlogs? Do we want to have a whole different series? Do we want to just do like one big video at the end? We've been talking through a lot of that stuff, and I think we prefer to do the update route with maybe some dedicated like specific videos towards it, just to like take you through it.
Yeah, if you guys have thoughts on how you'd like to see the content, definitely there's some suggestions below, and we can take those into account. But that's going to be a lot of what you'll see on the channel this year is a lot of renovation stuff on that house and property. I think setting something like a little bit more like numerical or numeral, is that the word?
For what number?
Like a number, like for instance, I was talking with my hairstylist and I was like, what are your goals like for this year for like your business? And like we talked about her like growing her clientele to like a certain number. Like, she was saying I want like, you know, I need to gain like 20 more like loyal clients.
You're talking like metric oriented.
Metric oriented, that's what I was trying to get at. So setting things like that, even though you can't like guarantee that stuff, but it's nice to kind of have like a realistic idea of like things you could achieve if it applies to your job. So
an example of that for us on the YouTube side could be like, we're going to reach out to 5 more brands a month to try to like work with based on like our desires and like whatever, you know, whatever.
Totally, stuff like that. So just think about that, and I think that can help with like growth.
Yeah,
cool.
Totally. Moving on to recreational, like I mentioned earlier, the house project for me is somewhat like an exciting thing that I'll be focused on and working on this year in 2020. This like bucket of recreational, that's something that also ties in back into yourself of like, do something that makes you happy, like pursue a hobby, pursue something that gives you like a bit more joy than just sitting inside watching Netflix.
Totally. Hobbies, it could be like trips you want to go on, things that you enjoy that you want to like achieve, stuff like that. So
maybe it is getting on like a dating app, or maybe like, you know, getting on like a friend app and like meeting new people and going and hanging out and just having more. Yeah,
like joining a flag football team or like a rec volleyball, like that would be like recreational. It's just something purely fun, which I think is really important. Actually, I saw a meme the other day. I meant to send it to you, but it said like our generation is so like we're all about like the grind and like work, which is good. It's a good thing, but like I think sometimes people like they said like we've lost sight of like hobbies. And like what about things that are just like fun that like bring you a lot of joy? Like why does everything have to be like work? And we are definitely like, we believe in hard work and we like that, but definitely within balance. Like you cannot let it overtake your life where it is your life. You have to like make sure that you're having fun.
You gotta create the work-life balance.
You really do. Very hard.
The life part, obviously work is the career goals. The life part is the recreational goals and personal goals. So get up, put yourself in uncomfortable situations, go pursue something you enjoy, and maybe you don't know what you're passionate about. That's okay. Go try a bunch of new things. Go try a pottery class. Go do some kind of like wine tasting thing, or like put yourself in different classes or different like new experiences, because that'll also help you find what you're passionate about. Do something you enjoy.
Something fun. It'll give you lots more energy to like keep going in other areas of your life. So a lot of you guys asked on Instagram recently like what we had planned for travel for this year. And we actually aren't traveling as much as we have traveled probably last year. Well, I guess I'm wrong. It's like pretty much full. But we wrote out like everywhere we were going, like what we already have in place and like places we want to go that would be fun. So
right now we have 12 different locations.
I think like a couple of things we're doing. So I'm actually going on a girls trip to Nashville with some of my girlfriends from home, which is gonna be really fun. And I feel like that's totally recreational. That's fun. It's just like girl time. It's
It's for your friend's birthday party.
yeah, for my friend's birthday, so that'll be super fun. Hunter and I are also planning to go to Stagecoach this year in Palm Springs. So we did Coachella last year, and we are switching it up and they're gonna do Stagecoach this year because we love Stagecoach.
Yep, and as y'all know, my company is in San Francisco, so we go to San Francisco quite often. That's where she's from.
Yeah.
And where we moved from actually when we moved to Texas. So I go back every quarter or so to San Francisco, and we try to make trips out of that as well. So we'll likely do San Francisco in the next couple months, and maybe do like Sonoma or something out of that, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
for sure.
It's kind of on the rotation
Yeah.
like, quite often. We'll do that a couple times this year.
Yeah, it's like a staple. We basically wrote out like the full calendar and filled in all of like the like already planned trips, and then kind of like where we could do other ones. So for instance, we have a family beach trip in August to Florida, so we're gonna be doing that. And then also Lake Tahoe for the 4th of July, hopefully. So that's also with friends.
You have at least one or two brand trips. And then we'll have a brand trip together in March, possibly.
Hopefully. Yeah. And then we were like, okay, this is stuff that's already planned. Like, where else do we want to go?
We have places written out of all the places we know we're going to be going for sure. And now we have to then discuss, like, what are the places we want to go this year? And, like,
yeah.
maybe
is it realistic?
Yeah, this might be like our last year without a kid. Like, we don't know. So where else do we want to fit in and squeeze into the calendar? Like places that we are for sure wanting to go, that's on our bucket list, etc.
Totally. So our number one place probably on our like dream list is Australia.
Yep.
We really have wanted to go there forever. So we're not quite sure where that's gonna fit in, but we're kind of trying to plan for that. And it's good to do this too, because if you wanna like go on a big trip, to like know that you're shooting for that, you have to like save money, you have to plan in advance, especially with like time off from work.
Totally.
Yeah, you really have to like know when it's coming. So I think trying to plan that now for big trips is really helpful. So that's our big one for us. I think that's kind of like our biggest. And then we would really like to go to Mexico, which would be a smaller trip. But
yeah, we'll probably do Mexico at some point. We'll probably do like Vancouver.
Oh yeah, we want to visit our friends in Canada. We have a lot of Canadian friends.
New York for Christmas.
New York maybe at Christmas, you're thinking. We would love to go to Arizona. We really want to go to Arizona soon.
Yep.
So I don't know. We just kind of wrote down a wish list, and then we're gonna kind of fill in. So you could do that. Do a wish list. See what's realistic. Anyways.
But plan your trips at the beginning of the year, so you actually.
Yeah.
They don't happen unless you like plan.
They don't happen. You have to like commit and just like.
People ask all the time. We'll actually probably do another.
Yeah.
Scripts and tips on how to plan a trip. People ask all the time how you go on so many trips or how we like fit all these into our schedule. And honestly, it's exactly what Julia said. We plan them out early and we put them where they're gonna go and we book them. Like to go on a trip, you plan it and you book it and you do it. You just gotta do it. Pull the trigger. If you're thinking about going somewhere, book it right now. Pause this video and go book your flight.
Totally.
Okay. Moving on. 4 of 6. Personal.
Okay. So personal goals. I definitely know the ones that I have. So my number one, I would say personal would like fall into like, you know, soul, character, spirit, like things like that.
Go a little deep.
Yeah, going a little deeper.
These can be things that you're like writing in your journal that no one knows about.
Totally. My number one is probably my relationships. I really want to work on those this year.
From like an effort perspective?
Just like closeness and like keeping like mostly with like friends, like outside of our marriage is obviously fine, but like with girlfriends. And I would like to not only like make more friends, but I would like to just like spend more time with my friends and just be closer with them, because I feel like it just, you know, everyone's life gets in the way. A lot of my friends have really little kids, and so it's really hard to find like a lot of time to hang out with them, and I just really want to like carve out more time for that, to like spend more time with friends, because I notice it gives me like so much life and it makes me so happy when I get to spend time with them and hang out with them. So that's something I want to make more time for.
Yeah, that really ties into something we've always talked about together, is like selfishness of our time. And like we've kind of like lived a way where we kind of committed like, hey, for the next 3 years we are going to be selfish with our time while we're like working really hard. But we do want to be better about like, hey, we want to be like less selfish with our time and like open up time for people for those relationships.
For sure. But it's hard too because I mean, I'm more of like I like a couple of really close friends. I don't need like a ton of friends. It's just not who I am. I could never keep up that many relationships. Like it would be way too hard for me. I already have 3 sisters, so I basically have like 3 girlfriends already that I maintain long distance relationships with. So just like really going deeper in a couple of my friendships like locally and spending more time with them.
I've always done a fairly good job at like maintaining like a lot of friendships, but just not going super deep. It's just easier to keep things surface. Like it's hard to go deep with someone.
Yeah, so, well, it takes a lot of energy.
It's effort. A friendship's effort. So anyways, going deeper with fewer friends and building deeper relationships.
For sure. What's yours?
So that's a really good one. My personal goals are more focused around like bettering my like lifestyle in a way of like sleep and being able to wind down and taking my mind off like almost like relieving myself of stress in a way.
So managing your stress better.
I don't have stress like you do. It's different stress.
Yeah.
Like I think I stress from managing a lot and just like bottling it all up and like working on too many things and maybe like being organized with it.
Maybe one thing for you could be to be better about expressing when you feel stressed so that you're not holding it in so much, because I feel like it like then you explode or like you have back pain or like it manifests in your body. Like I feel like you need to practice like how to communicate it better.
Yeah, probably. I think also that's my own recognition of when I am stressed. So a lot of times I don't realize I'm stressed when I probably really am.
I think it's hard for a lot of people. Also, one more that I really want to work on is just kind of like not spirituality, but like I guess they're closely tied together for me since I'm a Christian, but just like working on my character and like being like a better person. So I don't know, I'm thinking like a good fun way for me to like do that would be reading like a book by like Tim Keller maybe, and like doing like an extra study outside of like any devotional time or church time, just to like go a little bit deeper and kind of like work on that. And that's always fun. Like the roof is the limit with faith. So
yeah, but really personal goals are like personal development. It's like personal development. Dig deep and be honest. Like it's you have to be vulnerable. Excuse me. You have to be vulnerable and sincere with like what you're admitting and confessing to yourself. You don't have to confess to anybody. Like confess like where you want to work on to yourself and then focus on those things.
Oh my God, I have the best video that you guys need to watch if you have trouble like accessing your like deeper feelings or like being vulnerable. I think like it's kind of cultural to like kind of like toughen up and like not express a ton. I think that's...
Yeah, it's definitely a Southern quality.
Kind of. So there's this woman that has a Netflix special. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of her, but it's Brene Brown. And she does a ton of like studies. She's a Texan and she does a ton of studies on vulnerability and like TED Talks about them and stuff. And I feel like she does a really good job at breaking it down for people that like kind of have a hard time with it and showing like why it's cool to be vulnerable or why it's like it's super like courageous and strong to actually be more vulnerable. And the more vulnerable you are, like actually the happier you are. So it's really cool. I'll find the talk below and I'll link it, but you should definitely watch it.
Some of y'all have probably heard of her already before and maybe even brought her up before in the past. But she's so awesome good. And vulnerability is tied to so many other emotions and feelings and like issues that you might have around like insecurity or whatever. So
for sure.
Yeah, definitely worth watching.
Moe's pecans. They're not hard in your tummy. I find them hard to digest.
How so?
Like I can just feel like they're like, I don't know.
There.
Yeah, they're there.
Just change the battery again.
Financial is next, which we won't go into like too much of detail because I think it's private for everybody, but kind of some parameters on what you could do.
Yeah, totally. And I'll start out financial. One thing we're really big on is creating a budget for yourself. And identifying that as like if you're an individual or you are like a single person or you have like a spouse or a partner, if you have a significant other, like work with them on this as well and create a collective budget and an individual budget or whatever that might be. Create that for yourself so you know like your checks and balances. Like that's the first start to like managing your finances in a healthy, like smart way where you're not stressed out about them.
Totally. I think, and for us, the way that we did that, and I will say, because I know a lot of you guys are in college or you're just graduated college, when Hunter and I graduated, we like didn't manage our money at all. And so don't beat yourself up if you're not like there yet. But I think when we started tracking like on a Google spreadsheet, just all of our bills, how much we made, and at the end of the month, after we paid all of our bills and everything, how much would be left over. So that just helps, like if you can just literally write it all down and just see everything, like then you are already much more responsible, just understanding like how much money you could be saving or you have left over or whatever.
Yeah, totally. And as I mentioned, we do that in a Google Sheet so we can both log into it from our computers and kind of keep access and keep track of where everything's at.
Another thing that Hunter and I, and this is true I think even to this day, but Hunter and I we notice that our spending will go a little wheels off if we don't have a saving goal. So I think like not only like knowing your budget, but having some sort of saving goal, whether it's for like a car, if it's for a house, if it's for
or
like
even if
college
it's for just a
tuition for
savings
your
account,
child,
and you
or
just want to see that savings
yeah.
like get bigger and bigger.
But I think just having, like setting that number.
Maybe your goal is to save $2,000 this year. Maybe it's to save $20,000 this year, or $200,000 this year. Whatever it is, like set your goal and like work towards it. Whether you hit it or not, it at least gives you some guidelines so you're not. It's allowing you to be more mature with what you're doing with your
the
income.
decisions you're making.
Totally.
So then you know, okay, well if I'm gonna go out with my friends and go out to the club, or if I'm gonna go out and eat on Friday night, and that's gonna take away from my savings
Yeah,
budget.
I can't be buying shots for everyone anymore.
Yeah,
something like
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
It just really defines and gives you a guideline of where you're at and what you're working towards.
Totally.
So yeah,
set
financial, set a budget, set some goals that you want to hit financially, but also like financial goals could be like how you want to develop like a side hustle. That's definitely tied in with career, but develop a side hustle where you can maybe bring in extra income or do whatever you want. Like set your own goals. It could be a variety of things, but set them from like a metric standpoint of like how much money and income you want to save, but also be more mature. Like set a goal for like, hey, I'm going to budget this year, or I'm going to watch how much I'm eating out, or I'm going to watch how much I'm spending on clothes, something like that.
Totally. I think for us, it's usually eating out. When we want to like reel it in a little bit, we'll just like cut out eating out. We save a lot of money that way.
Yeah. So. But when we spend the most money is typically on home decor.
And travel.
Travel for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so have fun with that one. And I think financial too, like if you're single, like maybe sit down with like your dad or your mom and say, hey, I just like, maybe could you help me with some realistic things? Because I think usually it's hard to like figure out money when you're young, and just people with experience, your parents probably have a lot of experience managing bills in a household.
Or maybe they don't, and you can ask someone else.
Yeah, or a friend or aunt and uncle or a teacher.
Find someone that can
whoever.
help you. That's smart, you trust, and that you look up to.
Totally.
Oh, before we move on, financial goals. That'll also be another spritz and chips topic. We'll probably talk about budgeting.
Breakdown on budgeting and stuff. Okay. So our final category is 6, which is goals for each other. So I think you could kind of take this however way you want it. It could be like your goal like in your relationship, like how you kind of want to be, or I have another really good idea. So I personally love, I don't know why, but for some reason I like love hearing it can be hard sometimes, like hearing what other people think about you, but I think asking people that are really close to you, that love you and are respectful, not just like anybody, what you can work on, and like just being ready to like take that criticism, constructive
people
criticism.
That can keep it real with you.
Yeah, totally.
And people who you also like respect their opinion.
For sure.
Don't go ask like a friend that you like have issues with, and they're just like,
Yeah, they could say something biased, and it'll just like mess with you psychologically, because like they have like a very certain lens. So I love knowing like what people like what my flaws are, because usually you can't see them. And it's really like helpful for someone to point out.
Yeah.
So
and maybe
thought,
it's asking a sibling, you know.
yeah, sibling would be a
Sibling's
really good
great.
one, or a parent,
Their view can sometimes be biased, just like
based on your relationship.
based
with
on your
them,
relationship with them and your history with them. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess you could also, like, if it's within a relationship, you could take it as like, oh, I have a goal for myself, like in this relationship, like I want to be a better wife, or like in certain things I would want to work on, or you could like point it out in each other, or both, or whatever.
Yeah. For me, I'll say like right off the bat, like you do a lot
Yeah.
for me, I do a lot for you. I want to do a better job at like serving you. Like I'm good about doing things that I feel like are my role, or things that I'm comfortable doing, but not taking into account like, oh, maybe Joy doesn't actually enjoy doing this. Like, let me take it off her plate.
That's nice.
So I personally want to do better about like identifying things that I can like serve you better.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Like that.
Of course you do. She just wants me to do the laundry.
Okay, I think for me, I think like, I feel like you're really like tolerant with things, and something I noticed about myself is that I let like certain things that you do, or like habits of yours, or things like bother me, and I feel like
Well, then those habits are things I should also work on.
and I need to just like be better at just accepting those things and just not letting them make me frustrated. So like, for instance, like something like the fact that you don't like laundry, or like stuff like that, or like habits, like it's like you are who you are, and like of course I can like point out and be like, oh, like maybe that can change, and I'm sure there's tons of things that I do that annoy you too, but like I feel like you don't let them get to you as much, and then it affect our relationship, and I feel like I do let it get to me.
Yeah.
So working on that, and also with that, I think like being more in tune with like your needs a little bit more. Like when I think it's hard for me sometimes to feel when like you're in a high stress situation, because you don't like display your emotions as much as I do, because like I'm a girl obviously, but so like understanding and being able to like be there for you in those certain moments better.
Yeah. Handling, like being aware of my emotions and being able to handle them based on what they are.
For sure. And that's probably just like my character in general. But actually I think I'm better at that with people. I think it's just in a romantic relationship where it's harder, because like we're so close that like,
and we're together all the time. So
yeah,
we honestly don't have a ton of
space
or like alone time. And when we do, like we work in different offices and like we're kind of apart all day.
Yeah.
We come together for like filming and food and lunch and like at night and evenings and stuff like that. But we're at home, we're in the same like location a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So like having our space and pursuing like individual, like almost back to recreational, but like individual passions is like probably something we can both work on.
I agree. Yeah, I would agree with that. Like kind of building out for both of us like more things that we enjoy doing as individuals, because we already I think have so many things that we like to do together, and maybe for somebody else in a relationship it might be that you guys have your individual stuff but you don't have enough together, so it'll just depending on the dynamic, it could be different. But I think like something that Hunter and I both noticed, like for instance, he got to work on this fire pit project, which if you guys have been following along, you know that he just built the fire pit for our backyard. And for him, that's actually like a hobby. Like he really enjoys that. And it was like a really fun project, and it was purely just like enjoyment. So, well, and obviously like we get like an awesome fire pit out of it.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see him express himself and his creativity through that. And I saw that it made him really happy. So I think like making more time for him to do things like that,
like challenging me to make more time, like holding your partner accountable. Like I want to challenge Joy to make more time outside of things we do together and go pursue something she really enjoys, you know.
Yeah, totally.
And maybe that's by me doing the laundry and freeing up some of that time for her to go pursue something or whatever.
Totally.
Yeah, so those are like some examples. I mean, I feel like we have these kind of deeper conversations around like what each other can work on and what we can work on.
Yeah.
We have these kind of talks a lot outside of goals as well. I think it's just good in a relationship, in a marriage, to have those conversations and be vulnerable with each other and reflect on you know, the past, how we've handled things and how we can better those things in the future, etc.
For sure. And I think you also have to make sure that your just your timing is right. Like, I wouldn't take this and then like when you're in your next fight with your spouse, be like, well, you know something, I think you could work on. Like, it's not the time to bring it up. It's like in a, like when it's your best, you guys are in the best mood ever, you're having a great night. It's like, that's when you talk about it, when both your temperaments are really low, you're there, you're receptive. Like, that's when you would have this conversation of like, hey, like when everyone's really open-minded. So
yeah, like last night, an example, we were both like really in a good mood and calm, and I had to tell Julia, like, babe, like, you try to have sex with me like every day, and I'm not like about that. I want to like cool it a little bit.
Oh my god.
No, I'm kidding, but no, for real.
Wish.
It's good to have these conversations when you're in a positive place. It can be almost negative impacting if you do it in a bad time.
Totally. And I would just, if you're somebody that when somebody gives you criticism, if you react like really intensely or you're defensive immediately, I would just consider that like maybe a red flag, and just try and work on like being more open to like hearing what other people have to say.
Yeah.
So, okay. I think that concludes the goal planning session. Those are kind of the goals for the year. I think it covers kind of everything.
Yeah, and it's fun. Like, even just in this,
it's so fun.
Like, we didn't go as deep as we normally would by ourselves, but like it's still a fun time.
Yeah.
To like rehash these things and go over them
and write them down on paper. I feel like that like really helps you like check them in your mind. Like, oh yeah, I remember writing that down.
It's something to look back on.
Yeah.
And accountability is key in goals. So
definitely.
Partner stuff, yourself, writing something down, definitely make that a big focus.
For sure.
But yeah, hope y'all enjoyed this video.
Yes, we're gonna try and do more spritz. We always say this, but more and more.
Once again, that's one of our business goals.
That's one of our goals, is to commit to spritz and chips.
It really is. So we want our goal is to do it at least 1 or 2 a month. So
hold us accountable.
Hold us accountable for that.
That's right.
It's less easy because vlogging, we take the camera with us like everywhere we go, and it's just like the camera coming with us.
Yeah.
Spritz and chips is actually
like
a moment where we have
time.
to like put the camera down and like come to the camera and like sit down.
Totally, it's harder.
So,
but anyways, we love you guys.
Yeah.
We'll see you in a few days in our next video, and see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.